So let's talk about storytelling because I'm learning these things nowadays because I have to storytell on my videos. This so in the beginning there's a character, main character, right? And you are the main character, I'm the main character, they are the main character, other people are the main character in their own life because everyone can be a main character. I think so. Look at David Goggins. He came from nothing and became multi millionaire, right? And influenced over hundreds of thousands, even millions of people he has influenced, and he doesn't care about anyone else. So if people see that thing, then you will be great. So everyone can be main character. Okay, let's put that thing aside. So we have this. Let's play a game. We have this beginning and this end. So between these two ends, there is a lot of things that go on, and these things are used in movies most of the time. So in the beginning there's a character, right? There's a main character which appears, and that main character incidentally accidentally found something, or something happens to him accidentally. Then character goes, that thing happened, that's why another thing happens, that's why another thing happens, so that another person gets involved, and so that and another person another thing gets involved, which means things get escalated very quickly from this thing because it goes to compounding, because it's not 1 plus 1 plus 1, it's 1 plus 1 plus 1. It's not 1 plus 1 plus 1 3, it's 1 plus 1 plus 1 10, because it's not only 1 1 1 1, because it's going to compound over a long time, right? So something happens to main character, that's why this happens, that's why this happens, so that this happens because this happens, and other thing and finally side story or main quest for the pattern interrupts, right? So that the movie becomes interesting to people, happens in the middle of the story because side characters here and there on side quests, those happens, and then movie becomes interesting because they don't want to bore people. I think that's the main part of storytelling. Then from here, so that this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, and finally the problem, this is the solution part. So the problem is here, which means happened, and we got to the problem, which means from here on we are finding the solution. We are trying each and everything, we are going iteration from here on. Okay, you can see me, I guess. We are going through problems, and we are finding the iterations. We are doing things which it might take, I don't know how many years. It depends upon what is the condition, what is the thing that you are trying. It depends upon the situation, but let's say it's 5 years, or on an average it's 5 years. For the 5 years, hero goes through that problems. It's the rock bottom journey for the 5 years for that main character, and no one sees him during that problem. But finally he finds something after a lot of iterations, after hundreds of thousands of iterations. He finds something, and that works for him. Then he solves the problem. Then finally he comes out as a hero, and finally people know him. Then he shares his story, and that's the storytelling, I think. So the conclusion is, main character finds a problem, not finds a problem, something happens to him, and that happens along the way, so that because the connection builds up and it got multiplied, the tension escalates over time, gets multiplied. Then side quests happen, then problem appears, then the main character solves the problem, and he becomes a hero. Finally he shares the journey or whatever it is. But in the movies, most of the time, the hero remains secret, but I think finally they reveal it, but let's not talk about that. But in the real life, I think we need to share this journey, because we can be the hero, and we can share. If we share this journey at the rock bottom journey, if we record these things, then you don't know how much appreciation will these people get, and how many people will be motivated. Think about this. Let's take an example of David Goggins. If you don't know David Goggins, then just search David Goggins on YouTube, wherever it is, you'll find it. So if we could see David Goggins at his childhood, right? And childhood and his story throughout those the hard years, Navy SEAL training, this and this and this and that. And if we could see in his mind what he was going through, then how awesome would be, how awesome it would be that someone from nothing, someone from zero or even negative came out to the zero, then one, then he went from one, from negative one, zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, then he went from that to multi-millionaire. So think about that. How did that happen? And that's the main story that inspires the most humans. That's the storytelling, because that's emotional to us. And I don't know why it happens, but I think that inspires us. So that was it for the storytelling. And it would be awesome if we could see the documentaries of these huge people. And let's take an example of the Mr. Beast. So he documented his journey on YouTube. He did that thing. Then he is the number one YouTuber on the world. So think about that. You could be that main character, main hero. So I think that was it for the storytelling. Problem, this happens, something happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. Problem, no one sees the rock bottom. Side quests are introduced, then finally solve the problem, then finally people know him, or people don't know him, but you know that you have done it, so you are the main character. So that is it.